howdy folks who are here with us this evening. I am Jen, as you can see per my name at the bottom of my card here. Oh, Brian is coming in as well. I'm Jen, as I said. I'm a student recruitment officer here at St. John's campus. Basically, what I do is a little bit of answer folks' questions. I guess more of a lot of answer folks' questions. That's what we get to do on a daily basis. But it often happens from around Canada in my case, because I travel Canada domestically. But we do also have folks who leave Canada and travel around as well. I mostly work out of Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, do a little bit of Newfoundland here and there this past year. And basically touch base with students and talk to them about many of these supports and services that we have going on that Julia and I are going to chat to you about today. And also answer just general questions about these things, or I guess set up a framework and help people connect with those supports as they transition into Memorial, or consider that in advance. Brian, are you also, would you also like to introduce yourself?
Okay. Hi, my name is Brian. I'm a fourth year business student in Memorial University. I'm a co-op student, and I'm currently in my work term working with the students of recruitment as a tour program coordinator. And I'm an international student as well. So I come from Tanzania, and I just moved to Canada around 2 years ago.
Awesome. And Julia?
Hi, everyone. My name is Julia Halfyard. I am the manager of the Student Experience Office here at Memorial University, and the Student Experience Office is here to help you connect with your student experience at Memorial University through a whole plethora of fantastic programs that help welcome you to this university, but help you transition from high school into this university, which is really, really important and beautiful transition for you. I'm a part of a larger umbrella called Student Life, and it is, in fact, what it says. It's the life of your student journey. So within that department, there is the Blendon Center, which is really supports accessibility. There is a chaplaincy. There is, career development, which helps focus you on your journey and helps you just figure out what you want to be, or if you want to pivot. So we can talk about all kinds of those things as we go through this next hour, but it's a real pleasure to be here. Thanks, Jen.
Awesome. All right, as a starting point, this presentation is going to cover off a couple of touch points of, starting off at as early as recruitment, what you expect to see from someone who is working in recruitment like us, and what kind of things that we can set you up with to help transition you from here through to the folks over at Student Life, basically, and everyone in between. And we're the kind of folks that if we don't happen to have your answers, we're connected. We know everyone who does know the answer. So if we can point you either in the right direction, or we can go get that answer for you. So we'll have a bit of a time period at the end to get to your questions. So I welcome you folks to all send your questions along in the chat or the Q&A features of this session as it comes to mind. But if for some reason we don't happen to get to your questions, we can leave some emails in the chat for myself or Julia, just so that we can answer them later on, as long as they are related to what we're chatting about, or if they're not, we can find someone for you. All right, so as we said, we're going to be chatting a little bit about reaching your goals and your transition. So I'm just going to start off with touching base on what the folks, us over at recruitment, what you see from us. So one thing that Brian actually does would be help us out with the tours program. So if you're looking to see campus beforehand, we're kind of your first touch space for that experience. So we bring folks all around the main buildings of Memorial to see nothing super specific, but a lot of things generally, if that makes sense. We can tailor it a little bit depending on the size of the group, but most of the time we do touch base on the main cornerstones of the university, some of the bigger buildings or classroom areas that students do spend a lot of time, but it's not super, super tailored to one specific student or experience. It's just more of like a general vibe. Yes.
Is that for me, Jen?
Yeah, sure. What's up?
Yeah, okay. Or did someone else have a question? I can't see that.
No, it's
But
you.
I just wanted to, I will not interrupt you too much, I promise. I just wanted to tag on your tours theme because recruitment has that generalized tour where you take you to all the main buildings and it's fabulous. We see them around here all the time. But the student experience office then takes that one step further after you've done those big tours. And once you become a student here, we take you on a personalized campus tour. So, and I just wanted to connect those two things. They're on the website and we're very, very connected that way. So we take you before classes begin to all of your classes, basically. We'll take your schedule and then we'll take you to whatever rooms you're in for that hour or 2 hours that it takes. And your classes aren't in sessions usually prior, but it's just a little extra of that tour. So I just wanted to add it. I thought it was a perfect moment there, Jen. So I won't interrupt you anymore, I promise.
Oh, good. We also have a live chat that you can access to get in contact with us. We have both students and ourselves who handle that live chat. There's a full schedule for that live chat on our website. So you can take a look at that, see if we're online, and pop in and ask questions real time, which is a really great way to get a hold of us and get immediate direction without needing to give us a phone call or sending us an email and having to wait, because we're right there waiting for your questions, basically. And with the students being available as well, you can always ask them about their experience within reason, and then hopefully they can give you a little bit of guidance from a student perspective, which is very handy. But then that we have us in the background helping them out in the event that there's questions that they can't necessarily get to. We do like to keep the questions on chat related to the specifics or away from the specifics of an applicant specifically. So if you're looking for like nitty gritties of your application that's being processed, we don't answer those kind of questions. We do a little bit more like broad question answer stuff and less about you as a specific applicant, if that makes sense. Just to keep everything above board with the privacy and whatnot. We, of course, have on-campus events. Events that we either partake in that might be offered by other departments, schools, faculties, units that we might join in and help out with. But also we run our own events, kind of like the virtual open house, but ones that are on campus, of course. This also goes to say, and touching back on that tourist component, we do have both those on-campus tours, but virtual tours as well. So that doesn't necessarily mean that those events have to be just on campus. They can also be virtual because, of course, with the nature of this event, it is obviously virtual. We also host a variety of different events across Atlantic Canada and Ontario. In the past, we've gone and done some like application sessions for people in certain areas, or just general multi-campus sessions where us, Marine Institute, and Grenfell all pool together and travel together and answer students' questions in person. Within the international realm, we also see some of our international recruitment staff traveling the world and meeting with applicants, going to fairs and meeting with agents, that kind of thing. And of course, we have means and ways for you folks to connect with us and recruitment. You can call us, you can email admissions@mun.ca. And of course, as I said before, that live chat component, but we also have a form online that you can fill out, and it basically gets you directly in contact with us, and we can reach out to you, and you can basically respond back to us that way. So it's just a really great way to keep in contact, get it some like news information about deadlines, scholarships, that kind of stuff, but also have a direct line to us. All right. Whoop. So we also have some folks over at Academic Advising. I'm going to keep this side of it a little bit on the shorter side, just because Academic Advising and Career, I believe, are going to be doing a session tomorrow. So I'm going to keep it short so that they can expand on these things. And Julia, is your hand still up from earlier, or is it a different hand? I think you're muted.
No, I don't have my hand up anymore.
Perfect. So the first year information, or the FYI, it's a component of our website. So if you wanted to look it up, it can be navigated directly through the website, or, I mean, you can always do a Google for first year information, Memorial University, and it will bring you to the FYI page. This is basically a really great resource for students who are looking to explore different program setups. It gives you an example of what kind of classes you might want to register for first year, any equivalency charts for like math, chem, and physics, like that kind of stuff. So if you're looking for that kind of information about like the math placement test, even just how to register, it is a really great resource for students to be able to access whenever you want. But if you need a little bit more of a hands-on like approach, if you want to meet with somebody in person or online, the academic advising folks will help with course selection. So right down into that guide basically, but they'll actually take a look at those courses with you, discuss what they are, especially if you have some questions about different majors or specific courses within a program that you've never even heard of during high school. Like, for example, I didn't know anything about folklore until I went to university, and it was actually really cool and I really liked it. I wouldn't have had any idea what that was if I hadn't just, spoke with someone about that and tried it out for myself. So just giving you an idea of what things exist out there and help you explore that well in advance, which is always handy. And advice for program decisions. So if you're looking later on down the road at changing your program, or just getting a feel for what else is out there, any ways that you can use your credits outside of your degree, for example, if you're looking to add maybe a certificate or diploma, academic advising might be able to give you a hand with that if you're early on enough in that process, or you're making a big switch later on, just so that you have someone to support you there and can go over how that will look at with you while you're planning out those options. All right, I will hand this over to you now, Julia.
Thanks. So student life is exactly what it says, is it helps you with your life and your journey here at Memorial University. It has the Student Experience Office, which I am so honored to manage. It has the SWCC. We're all about acronyms here at MUN. So it's the Student Wellness and Counseling Center. So a really, really great place that helps many students navigate sort of the emotional journey of university. And this is not something that's unique to Memorial University, let me tell you. So the Student Wellness and Counseling Center, there's career development, and they do a whole host of programs that help students find their pathway and find their way through the university journey, what they want to be when they grow up. those kind of questions. What kind of courses, not the same way that academic advising advises, but sort of what kind of more generalized pathways that they might want to do, or even things such as resume building and just career advising, helping place students in work terms, all those great things, great nuggets of information that you'll really want to take advantage of when you get here. With career advising, they also have, they manage the on-campus employment programs, which is MUSEP and ISWEP. And units like ours hire many students when you're here. So that it's a really great way to get excellent experience and get involved in your community. So I think that's kind of an overview of what student life is. But really, I'm here representing that whole transition that you'll have into university after high school. It's really important when you register for that first course, you will, oh, I was late and trying to get into room 2. Did she get into room 2? I think this is room 1, isn't it? I'll let Jen deal with that. So in terms of what you need, just go back a slide there, Jen. Into the student life slide. There, perfect. We will, oh, thank you. We will, you'll register for your first course, which is a very exciting moment. And at that time, you will be registered for MUN 101. I think your slides are going everywhere there, Jen. And MUN 101 is our online orientation program. All students, all first semester students are automatically enrolled in it. And we take you through a wealth of information, not unlike what Jen is giving you here today. And
What are you seeing slide-wise? Mine is showing the...
Student life, we're seeing it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Weird.
And so Jen is giving you a wealth of information. We give you very similar information, but a little more focused. And then we're into the virtual open house website there again, Jen. I don't know why your screen is moving. Anyway.
I don't know, because it's showing on my side, it's showing me the student life one, so I don't know why.
And then it pops over. Anyway, it's okay.
Okay, one sec, I'll try resharing
What we want
the
you to
screen.
do is do the MUN 101, the online orientation, and then get involved as soon as you get to Memorial. It is, you'll find your people, there's no question. There's clubs and societies you can get involved with. There's Student Volunteer Bureau, there's on-campus employment, there's a student experience office, there's cafe concerts, whatever kind of tribe you want to be involved with, we will find those people for you. And I think that's the sort of the greatest advice I think Jen and I would give you is just find your people, get involved at university. It's a happier experience for you when you do. So I'll just go down this quite quickly. I talked about MUN 101. You must complete it. Personalized campus tours. I interrupted Jen earlier and kind of tagged onto that we will actually, prior to your classes, take you to all of your classrooms. You'll also meet a beautiful personalized campus tour guide. They're beautiful young people that really want to help your journey. There's academic program orientations. Oh, this is just fantastic. On the first day, you go to the field house, and all 1,500, 1,800 of you are there. We do an academic matriculation, and then we send you off to your academic orientations. You really should do that. It really helps ground you in your program and ground you in this university. And do not think that I shouldn't do it. I already know. You don't. You kind of want to experience that truly as a real student. And then Welcome Week, we run that through the month of September, January, and also in May, welcoming all students. And when you happen upon a concert in the food court, stop and listen and just, take it all in. We've got so many offerings for you and really great students that are managing this for you. And then our fairs and expos. So outside of my office is a big hallway, and our fairs and expos line up there. Lots of academic units there, lots of co-curricular units there, and all there just to chat and support you on this fantastic journey. So I think that I've sort of encapsulated what student life and the student experience office is, and we really look forward to hosting you when you do come to Memorial.
To jump off of your personalized campus tour side, I remember doing that when I started as a first year, and it was totally awesome. Like I had so many tours just in general because I had a residence tour and I had a personalized tour and I had a group tour. And I still didn't feel like I had enough tours because the campus is large enough that obviously by the time I had it down pat, but like, you know, it took me 3 tours before I had it like at least a solid idea of like where I needed to
100%.
go.
And you get to learn your campus a little more through a different lens, through different
Yeah.
perspectives. But in our case as well, and in recruitment's case, you get to meet people. So if you're in a group tour, you get to meet others that are just in the same boat as you. If you have a personalized tour, our tour guides are really kind people, and they really want to be a mentor to you for that hour. So I would really take this very seriously and say, yep, I'll do everything I can to ground myself in the student experience. And that I promise you, the literature really tells us that when a student does this, it really increases their success rates. So yeah, all this co-curricular or extracurricular, some people would say, really supports the academics. Life has changed, and we really want you to have that holistic, beautiful experience. So there that is, Jen.
Yeah, I just remember one specific experience in which my tour guide helped me write down the instructions of like getting into the chemistry building. Specifically, it was like I had to walk through this door, walk up these stairs, and I just remember writing it down in my phone. And then for like the next like month, I would always walk through the same door and follow the instructions on how to get to my class. And if it wasn't for them, I probably would have never, I would probably been late for every single one of my classes in the chemistry building.
You know, I'm going to predict that someone on this call will take one of those tours or all 3 of them and become a real expert in finding their own pathway. And then this is the next step. They're going to come to you or I and say, I too would like to be a tour guide. So when that
Please,
happens,
yes.
dear friends, you must let me know because I will celebrate that to the heavens and back.
Yes, once you've mastered it, you can come give us a hand.
Yeah, exactly.
But I'm saying I have a one additional slide here for I'm gonna say the remaining shout outs as just a brief list of other things that we have going on behind the scenes to help students. So if you want to if we want to split the ones on this one, Julia, I feel like some of them kind of cross over between both of us a little bit here and there.
Yeah, absolutely. So we can start with the resource centers. Why don't I do a little bit of talking and then Jen, you can just carry on. So it's really important, and we'll tell you this a lot in all of your orientations, to reach out before you need the help. Now, let's be honest, you'll be reaching out at some points beyond and you'll be freaking out, and we'll still help you. There's no question. Not to say that that will absolutely happen, but it's frequent. But you want to reach out when you say, oh, I'm not getting the hand, an understanding of the academic writing, or I'm having an issue with math. Well, there's tons of help centers and resource centers right there to help you. So we can see your screen again, Jen, but I think that's all right if you're looking up help centers.
Yeah, I was going to look up the
Yeah, so
student
like there's the
student life.
writing center, and I'll tell you, it's a fantastic resource for students. It's peer-to-peer, so the students who are hired to do the helping at these at the writing center are really, they know about academic writing and they help guide you. I would do that straight away because it is a little different writing in a university. I am a PhD candidate, so I'm still working on my PhD. And I went to the Writing Center first when I started the PhD program because I just thought I feel like I've lost that academic edge on academic writing. So they helped put me on another path, and off I went. So whatever stage you're at, you could be an incredible writer. The Writing Center will help you get better, and you could be a poor writer. The Writing Center will help you get better. Like it's really good for all different levels, and no judgment. They won't write the content for you, but they'll help you sort of streamline and format it to an academic standard. They will also help you with all kinds of topics like plagiarism and AI, and that's a new topic certainly around this university, and all kinds of things. So that's one resource center I love to talk about. How about you, Jen? What's another one that you like to?
Yeah, I was going to link to the website there, but I can just show it right off of the website. If I think if I just click over, you can probably see it.
Probably.
So
So
are you folks able to see that? Yeah, so the folks over at Student Life have a lovely website for you all laid out that has your has all of the specific ones that we've been talking about right along the top. And then of course like lots of awesome guides and so on and so forth. And even that comprehensive list of your resource centers with all the nice hyperlinks. I'm sure, Julia, you probably have the mastery of the Student Life website down a little bit more down pat than I do. But you can, as you can see, we do have some really great resources and links that reference back and forth to those centers, those resources, and so on and so forth. Oh, there you go. Julia has it there in the chat. So shout out that webpage. It's really great. And a really great way to even just find events that are going on campus. I know that you folks did have a events calendar there once upon a time. I'm not sure if you still share that over there.
We do, but I think most importantly, you will all have a very what would I call it, exclusive access to MUN 101. And in MUN 101, we take basically all the information around campus that is very pertinent to the first year experience, and we put it in front of your eyeballs so that you see it. So we talk about the resources, we talk about the help centers, we talk about math help center, there's an engineering one help center, there's all these centers that are there to help support your success. We have an academic support center that really just produces all kinds of wonderful programming to help you. That's what we're for. That's what we've been born on this planet to do. Right, Jen?
Yes. And I think you should be able to see now the presentation, right?
We can. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. I suppose I feel like it might be apt for me to, of course, shout out accessibility services. So the folks over at Blendon, I'm gonna say that's those are the folks that I used to work with and still do, of course, through you know, all the various capacities, because I do feel that we all work in accessibility in some capacity to make the campus a better and awesome place for everyone. But I guess a little bit about my background is I did start over in accessibility services when I started my first job over here at MUN. I was an assistive technology assistant. So I was able to help students who are looking at assistive technology within their educational spaces and help them navigate classrooms and tests and whatnot using varieties of technology, which was really great to see. But the folks over at Blendon, you can always meet with an advisor over there who will give you a hand with a variety of accessibility needs and concerns. So if you want to chat with somebody about a diagnosed learning disability, mobility, you know, classroom supports, testing supports, a whole bunch of variety of things that they can give you a hand with. They're just lovely folks over there who are looking to support you in any way that they possibly can when it comes to accessibility on campus. So big shout out to the folks over at London. They have my heart.
I think the other thing with Blendon too, if you're looking for some accessibility throughout your university term, is to connect with them prior to coming. That's not to say that it won't work afterwards, because they are the kindest people, and they really want to support your success, absolutely. But I think if this is something that you are exploring and you're applying to Memorial, reach out very, very early and get yourself registered.
Early is better. And even if you just have general questions about how they can support you in a variety of different ways, it's always good to ask, just to make sure. And as I said, the theme here is ask, and we'll do our best to hook you up with whatever you need within our means, or find the person who does. So that's especially the case here. So if you're looking for the folks over at Blendon to give you a hand, definitely ask early. And if it does come to something, if something else comes down as you're studying, always go to them, and they'll be able to help sort you out and see if they can work with you about what your concerns are. So really great place.
I agree. And
Um,
I think if there's anything that you take away from these sessions, you may go to everything and have a brain full of information. The most that I want you to take away, and I think Jen would agree with me, is just ask. It is here for you, and we are here for you. There's some very passionate people that are really into student education, the student journey, the student experience. And there is something here that can help you get through, because it's in our interest to also get you through, because it makes us feel great. Your success also is our success. So I've put a email in the chat there for you. So you can, I monitor this email, as does another team of people, but you can ask any question to this email, and we will find the pathway for you. So anyway, over to you, Jen. I think we're both very passionate about this topic. So there's that we're very chatty tonight, which is a good thing.
the folks over at Internationalization Office, they're really awesome as well. If you're looking to just get a little bit of assistance if you're traveling internationally from somewhere in the world, or if you're looking to travel internationally from St. John's anywhere else, it might be a really great resource to touch base with them and have them work through those logistics with you, just as a good touch point between any kind of international travel or experiences that you might be looking to have yourself. And I guess back to Student Volunteer Bureau with
Yeah,
you,
and
Julia.
don't forget about the Work Abroad program, or the Study Abroad program, which this Internationalization Office supports as well. So if you're a student that wants to explore the world a little, and you're not an international student coming, they have that other faction of the Internationalization Office that allows you to avail of their services. So the Student Volunteer Bureau is a partnership with the Student Experience Office and MUNSU. MUNSU is your student union. And this is a bureau that is powered by students like yourselves, and you find all kinds of volunteer opportunities throughout campus and your community. It is definitely a give back. But while you're giving back, you're gaining so much. So our student volunteers throughout campus and the community do such amazing work. It is also a really critical way to get involved with with this university. Our student volunteers are the cream of the crop. They're just really beautiful community members and citizens of the world. And I met with some earlier today, and it's a real great way to meet people, to do something good, to smile, and to feel good about what you're doing here at Memorial. So that's another place that I would highly recommend drop by and see if there's something there for you.
We shout out the student volunteer oftentimes when folks were especially looking at social work, because a lot of folks are like, but who do I touch base with to get those social work volunteer hours, or just people who are like really gung-ho about volunteering in high school and want to continue that on.
Well, I think it's really important as you kind of move through your young adult journey to know that not everything is about your academics and what you're going to do all the time. I think that we're really committed to building the holistic experience and the holistic student. So that means that we're aware of our community around us, we're aware of others, we're aware of all the social structures within our community. And what are we going to do about that as global citizens of this earth? So that Student Volunteer Bureau helps bridge that for our students and creates opportunities for them to see other factions of our community that really need the help. And they really need the help that we are very, very capable of giving. So we want to build those type of students here at Memorial.
You did previously touch on health and wellness a little bit, so I feel like that's reasonably covered. But if
Right.
you
Do
have
we
anything
want to talk
else you
about
want
Munsu and career development? I did talk about career development as well. I think I should probably chat about Munsu quickly. Munsu is your student union. They do advocacy for you, for students. They work through the university. And we have the Student Experience Office does work very closely with Munsu. And they also have this whole section of clubs and societies. You will find your people. There's no question. You may you may love singing hymns on a Saturday night. Well, there's a club for that. You may like playing Monopoly on a Tuesday night. There's a club for that. There's a gaming club. There's an outdoor club. There's a choir club. There's all kinds of these clubs and societies that will help you gain experience, meet like-minded people like yourselves, and get involved. So that's a really important part of this student union, and we're really very, very happy to support that.
That's definitely a part that I wish I had spent a little bit more time being a part of. Like I was in some clubs, but I definitely wish I had dedicated a little bit more time of my undergrad into clubs.
Yeah, it's a
That
really
is
great way
that's
to
one
get
of my
involved.
many regrets.
I'm sure you only have two, Jen.
Only that one, yeah. And on the side of residents, if you're looking for to live on campus, the folks over at Housing are happy to give a chat. I think it's housing@mun.ca is their email address. They do have tours of housing, so if you're looking to take a look at what they have on the go behind the scenes, but if you're just want to browse their website, they have all the resources laid out for you on the housing website that include things like the timelines of when you need to like move in and all that jazz, or the like the price template, the styles of residences that are available, what kind of supports and services that residence has specific to them, because they do have their own little microcosm of supports and services for each like area of residence, like different buildings. So you can foster a community within that residence building or even residents more broadly. And those folks over there are always happy to give a helping hand when it comes to housing related questions. Anything else you want to add, Julia, before we move on into questions? We're pretty much up to
Yeah,
question time.
it's a real smart choice to move into residence, particularly for your first year, because of all the supports. And they wrap their 11 arms around their new students, and really help them through that first year experience. So I really recommend that. I live so close to Memorial, but I told my daughter she's going to residence.
I'll admit that honestly, if I hadn't lived in residence, I honestly don't think I would have met many of my friends that I'm still very close with. Even my partner who I married, I met in residence, and just building a support system nearby when I was having some struggles throughout my first and second year, some like health issues and whatnot. I had someone like nearby to even just check on me so that people knew that I existed, so that there was someone there. Say looking after me in some capacity, that had some investment into me personally, and that happens much more quickly when you're forced into a situation where you're surrounded by everyone else who is in the same situation as you, like moving away from home and experiencing university and learning how to care for yourself, but also be an academic individual kind of all at one time. It kind of like converges at that moment. And I always like to encourage students to look at that option if it's something that is feasible, or especially if you're moving from away and are leaving your support systems at home, it's a really great way to bring that in and create that near you and very close to you.
I absolutely, absolutely. It's great place. If you're moving in to St. John's, residence is certainly a great spot to go.
100%. All right, I'm going to close out of this, and we'll see if anybody has any questions sent on to us. I'm just going to scroll up through chat to see if anything has come in. But if you're in the participant side, folks, you're welcome to ask us any kind of questions. And Brian, you're welcome to pipe in and add anything about your personal experience as a student, like if you've lived in residence or availed of any kind of support specifically that if you want to give an example of, if you're comfortable giving an example of what you've availed of, that has helped you, you're more than welcome to.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, if anyone really has any questions, I can always pitch in. In regards to my own experiences, I can definitely give some insights when it comes to career services, because that's a service that was very beneficial for me in my program, as well as like volunteering and participating within Memorial and how it helps with building community and making new friends.
I have over the years done a few MUSEPs, and I know exactly what you mean with that, Brian. Like one of my MUSEPs actually started out at the Blundin Center, and that's how I got the inspiration to do my master's project over with Blundin in assistive technology, which then, as a result, I guess kind of ended up lending itself to having worked at Blundin later on after I graduated. So it's one of those, like, it literally supported me from my undergrad right up into my master's, and then kind of resulted in being here at Memorial in some capacity after the fact. So I definitely would contribute, having had a MUSEP position through career, back in back in back in undergrad for what I am currently doing now. So I'll shout them out for that too.
I think that's really cool, Jen, because sometimes the pathway that you organically find leads you to other things, and it's not really the pathway that you envisioned in your head. So that's why we encourage people to get involved, do different things. If somebody says, "Hey, let's go to a volleyball game," go to the volleyball game. Like, or apply for that job on campus, or go to the volunteer bureau and see what you can do and how you can give back, or just find things to do, because all of those things collectively will influence that beautiful pathway that you're on that will lead you to, a really cool experience at university.
Yeah. I think my particular access axis of support definitely came from, like, I mean, everybody can kind of make their own access, but like mine definitely looked more like a like residence meets career meets accessibility services, and just like the general like friendly vibe of all my professors and whatnot around campus. So like that's kind of how I would conceptualize how I've ended up in my own career here at Memorial in recruitment. So it's kind of it kind of helped me, and then I've maintained in this community, and it's really lovely to be able to talk to students who are looking at joining the community more broadly, like the folks here tonight. So.
Do we have any questions about that, or even comments on what you think your pathway may already be? Or what you'd like to see your pathway?
It's
Or
true.
maybe Jen and I are such good conversationalists that we should have our own podcast.
It's true. We love a good podcast.
Anyway, you can just drop it in the chat if you want. I remember when I was in undergrad, I got a MUSEP in the folklore department, of all places, Jen. And they knew I was a music person, and they got me to listen to all these not 8 tracks, but the reel-to-reels. Remember from the 60s? So I listened to all these reel-to-reels. I probably am the biggest expert on choirs in St. John's in the 60s. under the baton of Ignatius Rumboldt than anybody else. And I got all that because I was only supposed to like label them, but I was so geeky about all this stuff that I listened to them all. I listened to like probably 600 hours of choir music. And I also became really cool at like taping the reel-to-reel tape when it broke because it was from the 60s and this was like the 90s when I did it. So they were 30 years old and very fragile. Anyway, that whole experience, though it didn't really land in my wheelhouse of academics or where I was headed, it stayed with me so that I'm actually really passionate right now about choir music in St. John's because I kind of know where we were born from. And so it just influenced that little bit of my life. And when someone says, "Oh, how about this?" I go, "Oh, hey, but I heard this at this point." And it's just that little extra bit of tidbit or that little extra creative information that you can land somewhere. So, take up all those opportunities, even if you think they're kind of outside your realm.
Yeah, exactly. And even if you try something, sometimes even if it doesn't necessarily land the way that it did for you or for myself, sometimes knowing exactly what you don't want to do based on having tried something is always a good process of elimination.
There's the
So
other
some
side of the
students
coin.
coming in
100%.
undecided who are like, I don't know what I like, what should I prepare myself for? If I'm completely undecided, I have no idea what I'm doing. And I'm like, sometimes you just have to know what you don't want to do. And if you've already settled on like definitely not interested in thing X because you've tried it out, sometimes just process of elimination can be handy, but you can't always, if you don't have the experience, it's hard to process of eliminate something. So then you can kind of meet things that you like, things that you don't like, and try to find something that has a good balance of that.
Absolutely. Did a question come in? I thought I saw something,
Yeah.
but I can't see it there in the chat.
Someone says, are some services more tailored to certain campuses, or are all the general accessible no matter which campus? That's a good question. So, Marine Institute, if you're looking at studying at Marine, because that's in St. John's with us, we do share our supports and services among both of our campuses because we're by each other. We're one of each other, basically. So we're kind of a big support group of each other. But if you're looking at Grenfell campus, they have a parallel version of what we have at St. John's campus. It just might be a little bit smaller because they're a smaller campus than St. John's campus. So as a result, they would have the very similar things, if not the exact same things. It would just be a slightly different scale. You're welcome. It's a great question, though, especially because some folks are looking at going to different campuses or moving between them. And I know that the folks up at Labrador, they have lots of great connections between their own services as well and between the services at other campuses. We like to share.
Yeah, we're all under the umbrella of Memorial University, so it's good. Any other questions about any of the supports and services that Jen has so eloquently discussed tonight? I'm so happy to support you tonight, but I feel like I'm a bit of a chatty Cathy tonight, so I hope it's okay.
I think real-time examples or real life examples are always a great way to shine light on things that actually happen because it's a really human thing, right? Is to have those real life experiences that you can draw on and be like, hey, I did do this and it worked out really well for me, or I did do this and maybe it wasn't like perfect for me, but I can see how that can be really helpful for someone else in a different circumstance. So it's really great to be able to draw attention to even services or supports that I never used one time where I'm like, man, I wish someone had told me about that. Like I probably would have availed of like Blunden Center earlier on in my academics but one thing that I did have on hand really early on was my resident support. So I really leaned on those early on, but then found ones that fit a little bit better later on. So it's not just like a one size fits all. You can kind of mix and match and transition between ones that might be more or less suiting depending on where you are in your academics or life. Even just striking a balance of how many courses do you need to take? How many courses is comfortable for you? Do you prefer online, in person? You know, it involves a little bit of soul searching, but you don't have to do it by yourself, right? There's someone that can give you a hand and talk to you about it and give you the pros and cons and give you an idea of, you know, of course, listening to your experiences, how important that is to your life, but also giving you a more of an insider view to how it works on campus and what might be a more options to weigh. Might even be options that you've never been considered, that you didn't have on the table originally. You're like, wait, there's a third option. Maybe I should look at that as well.
Indeed. Nicely said. I agree with that wholeheartedly, Jen. I think that you know, when you come out of these virtual open houses or any other program that we might offer here at Memorial, just keep the ask@mun.ca email handy. Ask. I have a question to ask. Oh, ask@mun.ca. So then you write us and we will funnel you to the right person to get the answer, or we may have the answer ourselves. But really remember that in this process of applying and exploring and, you know, getting answers to questions, we really are here to help and encourage. And we have a plethora of all kinds of beautiful curricular and co-curricular programming to help you on your journey. We want you to succeed.
Exactly. And I'm going to throw up the admissions email there in the chat as well if you're looking for application-based questions or some general application information or program information that you are need a little hand finding on the website. This is where you can email us on the recruitment side and admission side to give you a hand on the early process. Or if you're looking at those early tours before you become a student, you can reach us through that email address and we'll direct you to the right people, the right place as needed. And I think we're pretty much at the end of time. So if there's no further questions coming in, we can conclude and just, you know, sign out and thank everyone for coming. But I'll give it like 2 more minutes or so just to see if anyone else summons us for questions. Brian, is there anything else you would like to conclude with? Any like final words of wisdom from you?
I could just like reiterate what I did say in the student panel in regards to I'm a fourth year student right now, and I do have some experiences, and just something I could say to students who are starting off for the very first time. And I would just say is similarly to what I said before. I thought I had like everything figured out, and I thought I had everything lined up for me and everything fully prepared within like my first few months of a student in Memorial, and I was also doing it online. And I guess my piece of advice to students is, um, things always just take time. Things will constantly develop in your life as a student. You'll always find yourself finding new interests, finding new things to pursue, finding new things to just look up to. And I guess, generally speaking, just live your life to your best as a student, and just don't put too much pressure on yourself, and don't put too much weight on constantly focusing on what you want to do, like within the next week or two. Just run with the time, enjoy your time as a student, and things will just gradually develop as you get on with your school years.
Awesome. Thank you. That's a
Yeah.
really great point, Brian. All right. Well, thank you, Brian. Thank you, Julia. Thanks everyone for joining us in this panel. I'm going to let this transition over to the folks over in the School of Music. So if you want to stay in this room, it will be School of Music presenting next. But we'll also have the folks over in the Faculty of Engineering and Human Kinetics Recreation in the other room 2 and 3. And I can just share those those links in the chat for you, or you can navigate back out to the virtual open house page and join those sessions respectively. So again, if you want to stay in this room, it will be music. And it will be also me still here, hanging out with music.
Looks like Paige will be singing and playing for us. Is that Paige? See you, everyone. Great to see you. Thank you.